Hey everyone, I wanted to take this video to explore another topic that has come up while writing my book, which is around allyship, harm, and basically what to do after you have already done harm. This is a big topic because a great deal many people, even if they're not consciously showing up to be an effective ally for this reason, a lot of people report over time that they want to be effective allies so that they can prevent potential future harm. And that's great. Very happy for people to do that. It's a very kind thing to do. You are someone who wants to help. You don't want to cause harm. In my experience, though, there really isn't any meaningful learning that happens without making mistakes. And when it comes to helping people, a lot of the mistakes that we make lead to harm. So while the preventative work is really great, one of the ways that we do solve for this in Mastering the Game of Allyship is earning trust slowly, building rapport, doing the inner parts work that allows you to more quickly, easily anticipate the needs of others, what might be harmful for them. There's lots of stuff that we do. But knowing that you're going to have to make a mistake and that mistake is going to lead to harm means that the thing that's really going to separate effective allies from ineffective allies are how do you show up to allyship on the other side of harm that you have already crossed. And there's a couple ways to do this, and really it is depending on the amount of harm it is that you caused. So the first step, first case is very simple. This is how do you show up as an ally when you are afraid you might have caused harm. This is actually one of the biggest categories, so I'm just going to solve this one really easy. Go find out what harm you did and exactly how much it was, and use the tools, like I said, reflexive listening, to really get down at the depths of what it is of the harm that you caused. Most people don't go all the way to the depths. Some people will take responsibility for harm that they didn't actually cause. Hurt feelings isn't quite the same kind of harm as putting someone out of their house or taking up some of their time or affecting sort of their material reality. Feelings matter. Don't get it twisted. Feelings really do matter. But hurt feelings are something that's really sometimes difficult to take full responsibility over. And many people will assume that someone having a feeling that they don't want them to have is the extent of the harm. And then they'll spend most of the time trying to go after that feeling instead of whatever it was that was the behavior that caused the feeling. So you're gonna wanna get deeper and actually find out what half the time most of the harm comes from the fact that this person wasn't able to express whatever their reality was in that moment. So let's say that's taken aside. You actually have found out, you've done your homework to find out exactly what harm that you caused. Depending on the type of harm, personal harm, relational harm, cultural, community harm, you're gonna have different options for what to do on the other side of that. Personal harm, it's pretty simple. You got to be part of that person's healing process to the degree that they will let you. So if you've harmed someone physically and you have enough trust with them that they're letting you into their healing process, good way to spend your effort to repair that damage. That being said, when you're budgeting how much energy you should spend towards being in a healing, repair relationship with someone, make sure you're not spending all of your energy repairing that harm. Because if you're spending all your energy repairing your harm, you're not actually showing up as an effective ally to other people. You're brought out of the game. Rule of thumb, 50-50 split feels pretty good. Really, I'd say probably more of a 70-20, because as you're learning, as you're growing, as you're making sort of these mistakes, you still need to get at-bats, opportunities to grow and change. And you can't stop your entire process of being an effective ally because you make one mistake. And that said, you still have to make sure you're spending the resources to repair any harm that you cause that you want to. Again, this is a big thing. You can honestly opt out of repairing harm if you want. There's a lot of people who will say you should absolutely repair every single harm that you want to do. There's other people that are going to say that you don't. Truly, I don't care. This is all about you building an allyship practice that you want to come back to that's actually effective, that does that. And so if repairing harm gets you there, do it. If it doesn't, also don't do it. But this is just me responding to the concerns of people who've reached out to me. Now, when it's relationship repair, it's kind of the same deal, but now you are an active participant. You need to be in co-creation with the person and say like, okay, cool, there's two images of how the relationship was supposed to go. Your job in repairing that harm is identifying how you contributed to a relational dynamic that you weren't excited about, or how you contributed to one that you were excited about that someone else wasn't excited about. That usually means re-enrolling people into a new relational dynamic that actually includes all of the pieces that you wanted to have inside of it. And sometimes it ends with a relationship ending. Like, if you've caused harm and a relationship ends, that sucks. But sometimes that's the fastest, honestly, most ecological way to get back in the game and start doing more effective allyship. Now, at each of these cases, having caused harm, other people that are in relationship with the person who you've harmed are going to maybe not trust you as well. If the set of people who you want to be an ally to don't trust you because of this harm that you've done, again, you've got two options. Really sort of committing to repairing that relationship and getting to a place where you're able to help a larger set of people. Or you might need to find a new set of people to help while you are repairing your relationship with the first set of people that you want to ally with. A big mistake that people make is that they will go all in. They'll be like, I'm only going to help this one group of people, and when I've done harm or made mistakes in that group of people, now my allyship is stopped because this was the only people who I was resourced to help. Well, in our allyship, you can actually help any set of folk who are able to and willing to receive your help at a certain moment. Repairing harm actually sets you up to be a better ally to people who are probably also going to do harm in the future. And so just know that in the long term, the way that you show up to harm repair is going to help people. It's not a penance that you pay to make other people feel good. That's not your job. Your job is to model a path that's ecological, that helps people deal with the thing that just is going to happen if you want to achieve allyship at a high level. If you want to achieve it as a low level, you might get away with not harming or hurting or making any mistakes. But if you want to achieve it at a high level, you're going to do it. So relationship repair is really important. When you cause harm at a community level, this one's big. You might get kicked out of that community. If your allyship is identified with being someone who helps that community, which I highly recommend it not be, you're going to really struggle because you're going to spend all of your energy trying to get back in good graces with that community. And you might do things that are now more harmful for the sake of getting access to that belonging. That's the reason why in the Mastering the Game of program, we really work on the self-sabotaging belief, I don't belong, because it's one of the things that causes the most harm and sucks up the most energy when you get into harm repair is this desperate need to belong. To be an effective ally, you're going to need to learn the meta skills to belong anywhere, even belonging amongst people who are actively hostile towards you. And sometimes people are actively hostile to you for reasons that are just legit your fault or your responsibility. And so being able to hold that tension really, again, separates the people who achieve levels of mastery versus people who are normal. And again, you can be normal. It's totally fine. But I know and I deeply believe that the world needs more effective allies. And so that's why I pitch this. So the big takeaways here is don't stop helping just because you've harmed. You're going to be going through two processes, whatever it is that's your harm repair process, and you're still going to have to commit to your daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, allyship practice. The reason that we go into practice and that we practice at 70% of our energy is that when crisis mode comes, i.e. harm repair comes, you get to use the 30% that you've been holding back to be in relationship repair while still maintaining your effectiveness on your allyship. And it seems simple, but it really is that when you break it down to that simple level, it becomes very obvious what parts of you have taken over your allyship practice. Again, that desire to belong, that desire to feel right, that desire to seem blameless, that desire to hold a self-image that people like. All are great and useful tools towards effective allyship, but neither of these are actually the ways in which you become an effective ally. And so when crisis comes up, these parts of you are going to raise their ugly heads, and your job is to know ahead of time, oh yeah, this is happening, let's deal with it. So you don't end up like a lot of well-meaning people that get brought out of the fight when they stumble for the first time. So hope this helps. If you got any questions or anything you want to add, hit me up, and I'll talk to you guys later.